Hello and welcome to the Winning Agenda's coverage of a game against Kaiyan Fan. My name's Jesse Marshall, and this should be a big challenge. We have an interesting hand here. So Kaiyan is one of the proponents generally of what we would ordinarily term the Marshall Plan setup, so putting influence into France in the headline phase. We've got a pretty good way to counter that in Suez Crisis, knowing that it won't be defectors. We have generally quite a blue hand, which means that our opponent probably has quite a few red cards. And the red cards that we have aren't particularly powerful, but it is nice to have CNS and Indo-Pakistani War, NATO as well, and Marshall Plan is one that we're going to have to try and deal with or get rid of, most probably to space, as well as NORAD. So we haven't got, assuming that we don't want to event Marshall Plan, we haven't actually got, a whole heap of playable ops. Our opponent is playing influence into France, but not a whole lot, just the one, which I still think makes it good enough to Suez Crisis and coup Italy since we have NATO. So let's go ahead and do that. Interesting. So we'll move 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll participate, continuing the trend of the sponsor winning. Odds are that they will, of course. And we'll go ahead and start off with an Italy coup here. Even though we have Marshall Plan and we don't necessarily have heaps of ops to follow up, if we can get a good roll, we never know our luck. So, we didn't get the roll that allows us to also threaten France next action round by getting influence into Italy. And that could have been a way that we could have played away Marshall Plan. So if we'd rolled one better there, we could have gone 1 into Italy, 3 into France with Marshall Plan. So our opponent would then have had the opportunity to fill up the non-battlegrounds and try and deny us domination. So in some ways, just taking Italy, spreading somewhere else is probably a better use of our second action round anyway than giving our opponent Marshall Plan. All right. So we will place at least 2 in Italy. The question is, do we also put 1 in Afghanistan? Or do we overprotect Italy this action round? So we do have a very limited number of ops this turn. But I do want to incentivize our opponent to go into Pakistan. So I think I'm going to do this. They could just jam ops into Italy and try and force a Truman Doctrine or force us to play the China card. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with here. If they play into Pakistan, we'll probably coup Iran, although I'm reticent to use either NORAD or Marshall Plan this early. So they do move into Pakistan and another into France. I think, so the option we have is to coup Pakistan with the China card. Don't love that because it gives them Thailand. The 1 in 3 with IP war is not amazing. We could, of course... So the fact that they played 1 into France means we can't do the take France with Marshall Plan option. I do want to keep the pressure up here, though. So we could coup Pakistan with the China card knowing that we have the war. Does make it a little better. And then we're threatening to get the last coup on Iran. I do actually kind of like that here. I'm often reluctant to coup Pakistan with the China card, but I think that this time it actually makes sense. And this also means that we can complete Afghanistan and move into India later in the turn, for instance, with defectors, if we want to. We do have to overprotect Italy. I would like to do that on our next action round, though. So it'll probably be 1 into Afghanistan, 1 into Italy, depending on what they do. So it's a coup on Iraq, okay, just to get some mil-ops and bring DEFCON down to protect Iran. That's fair enough. That's a pretty defensive play. So I think we're going to threaten Asia domination here The other option is to threaten Europe domination. I actually think that we'll play here to threaten Asia domination, here to threaten France, and mean that we can Marshall Plan our way in if we want to. Though, of course, I'm not super keen on leaving 2 European battlegrounds with the opportunity for our opponent to break them. AR6 with Truman unaccounted for. So it looks like no scoring cards for us or our opponent on this first turn. So they are giving us Asia if we did have it. Unfortunately, we don't. The big question for us is, do we want to give them a Marshall Plan here? NATO is out of the way, so that's one consideration. But I would rather give it to them while taking Greece and Portugal, I think. Yeah, so I think we can play IP War. I don't think we need to hold on to it. I think we can just go like... We need to get an influence in the Middle East. We know that they don't have the scoring card, but we still need to get in there. We'll just start spreading across Asia. Perhaps the one into Italy is a little defensive at this point, but... How are we going to get our Middle East influence if we do that? So we can't have everything. I think India is probably less important than this. Let's go Lebanon. Do we want Lebanon or do we want Syria? Lebanon gives them an effective way to coup back into that part of the Middle East, which I don't really love. I think we probably just prefer taking Syria, actually. Yeah, so I think that's the right play. And then we've got the opportunity to take Greece and Spain, Portugal with Marshall Plan if we want to. But I don't... It seems like our opponent has a very difficult hand to manage, so I think I'd rather just let them stew on that. So the question is here, do we want to hold over CNS for a headline, in which case we want to have a go at spacing one of these? I think we do, because we don't want to carry both of these over to next turn. Although it would be nice to be able to headline Europe scoring by taking Greece and Portugal here. No, I think we can. I think we'll just space NORAD. Cool. Worked all right. So they can break us in Syria. Can they? No, they don't have access. They can break us in North Korea, knowing that they have the China card. But they do not have the ops to do so at this point. So Romanian's a good get. Middle East scoring. So knowing that we're not going to get defectors, we don't have duck and cover, but Fidel's out there and we've got CIA created in hand, so we need to be very cautious about that. I think we could headline, our opponent could headline duck and cover and then 5-year plan us, and that would be a huge blowout. But assuming that they're not going to do that, do we want to Vietnam revolts or do we want to de Gaulle more? I think knowing that we're going to play CIA AR1, we don't really want a Vietnam revolts, because they can just coup Vietnam with the one op. And we can just play Korean War during the turn. Oh no, they can't coup Vietnam because DEFCON's too high. Yeah, I think we had 9 Vietnam revolts then. Red Scare, okay. That is generally annoying, but here not so bad because at least we get to get rid of CIA. Our opponent's going to see Middle East scoring, but they're not going to be able to get exactly what they want out of it. So yeah, let's just get rid of this. Yeah, and then we do have a few options for what we want to do. I think we'll probably Space Marshal and then hope that it's successful, and then hope that we can CNS to the 3rd spot in space. So they put 1 into Thailand, fair enough. We can place only 1 into... I always forget exactly how that interacts on playdeck between Vietnam Revolts and Red Scare, but it looks like it's working correctly. So we could place 1 into Thailand. We're going to event Korean War. We're probably going to event de Gaulle. We're going to have to dump this, and then we're going to have pretty much empty action rounds. So what else do we need to do to shore up our position? I think we probably want to take Laos to block them off there. That does give them a coup, but... And they can coup us out of Syria. Yeah, I don't love that. Let's just try coupping Iran. If we can get lucky. No. If we got very lucky, then we could have just mised a couple of victory points off Middle East scoring. But I think that way at least we deprived them of the opportunity to coup us out of Syria, which could have been very bad for us. So we do surrender a little bit of Southeast Asia, unfortunately. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see where our opponent goes now. I mean, they could play a 4-up into Iraq. They could play 3-ups into Gulf states, can they? No, there's no connection between Iraq and Gulf states. Sorry, between Iran and Gulf states. US, Japan. Are they filling up Japan? No? Okay. So I think we'll go ahead and event Korean War here. It looks like some pretty heavy Asia play from them. Oof, would have been a nice hit. Dump this Middle East scoring next action round. Looks like they've probably got Asia. Yeah, it's interesting as to whether we play this de Gaulle. Okay, so score for score. Do we hold on to this Middle East as well? That's the other thing. Just in case they have NASA. They know we've got Middle East though, so they're unlikely to do it. I think there's very little to be gained from holding on to that. Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and do this, hope that it's successful. Alright, so at least we pick up the 2 VPs from this slot. And we may well play Special Relationship and hold on to de Gaulle for the headline phase. Interesting, playing China, so possibly having okay. I think we probably just event de Gaulle here. Because if they play China, I'm not convinced that they have a particularly high ops hand. I mean, there are still a lot of high ops cards out there. And they may have played China just because they had Decol Destal. But at least this forces them back into a spot where we're already ahead. So let's take that. And so for a turn that we were red scared and failed on the 2 rolls that we had, I think we've come out of that okay. Could be a couple of VPs, no. But we will pick up the Milops VPs this turn. And have an opportunity to hopefully take Greece and Turkey as well. And we got Europe scoring, which is handy. So NATO's still live. We can dump Truman, which is very good. Can even 5-year plan Truman or special relationship if we want to. Definitely don't want to headline Truman Doctrine. How do I get rid of this? There we go. Actually, maybe we do. I mean, we could want to headline Truman Doctrine. It's unlikely, though. Don't particularly want to headline Comic-Con. It may actually be that we do want to headline Truman here. Yep, I think it is the case. Alright, so no coup for us and possibly no Milops as well. We have a lot of operations points, so with Truman out of the way we can try and jam into France, but I think it's like we've already got the 3rd battleground, so let's just go ahead and start spreading at this point. So we'll go first in the Middle East. I think we want to block them into Iraq. We know they've got Nasser, and we've got the China card back now. So we can take Greece, and we can take Iraq. Just to really lock them in. I think that's the way to go. So we're not going to get any coups off our 3 4-ups, but we might as well take as many battlegrounds and relevant countries as we can. We also know they've got blockade, so they've got a couple of relatively bad cards for them in hand, and we know that they've got Destal. So they held over Destal, they've got blockade, which they're going to discard the Destal to, and they've got Nasser, which we're going to appreciate when we get that. And it's always the case, I think, in these early war scenarios. If the Soviets get a lot of blue cards, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, because the Soviet cards are more powerful, it's a lot better for the Soviet player if you get a lot of your opponent's cards and the US player is saddled with a lot of your Soviet events that are a bit worse for them. So we could have been red scared 2 turns in a row. That would have been savage. Taking Algeria, yeah, we probably could have prioritized that instead, but we did not. Let's go ahead and do 1, 2. Do we want Austria, or do we want to take the cheaper Czechoslovakia? I think we'll go to Czechoslovakia. Independent Reds is not removed, is it? Because they played it on turn 1. Yeah, so maybe we'll go Finland actually instead. 1, 2, 3, and then we want to spread to Saudi Arabia or India. Saudi Arabia is better. They're currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the opportunity to be 6, 7, and we're quite behind on country count. So unless they move into Burma, I'm not super keen to move into India at this point. Saudi Arabia, obviously vulnerable in the late war to AWOC sale to Saudis, but it is an extra VP off OPEC, as well as contributing to a domination in the Middle East for us if we fill it up here. Okay. So yeah, we could have been a little more aggressive on that. We'll go back to our hand, and we'll just score Europe here, I think. We could try and create some problems for them, knowing that they've got, out of their 5 cards, is Nasser, Blockade, Destal. But if we give them US-Japan Pact, we give them domination here. So that's also not a great way to go. The other option is to jam with Comecon into West Germany, put 2 influence there. Or we could put 2 influence into France. So blockade NASA decel. So neither blockade nor NASA would allow them to repair France if we did that. So it just depends what their final 2 cards are. I'm racking my brains thinking if we're missing anything else that we should know that they have. Seeing Duck and Cover 5-year plan now. Seeing Formosan. Olympic Games is there. Okay. And if we go to Man in Earth orbit, then we can't space grain sales. That is the slight problem with spacing special relationship here. I think we want to score Europe and not faff around too much with trying to cause them problems in France. I don't think we want to give them Japan this turn though. Whilst they're on the back foot and low on ops, the question is, do we want to try and take South Korea back with the China card? And that may be the case. Because we are, flush with ops this turn, and I think we want to do something. Giving them India would just be so diabolically terrible, even at a 1 in 3. That I'm loath to make that move. I think it is safer to go like this. And then they've got NASA, but we've got a lot of ops to follow up with here. And I kind of, in some ways, don't mind holding 5-year plan over, given the status of the space race track. And given that CIA and Duck and Cover are both out of the way now, I'm a bit less worried about DEFCON, which means that if we can flip South Korea for the China card, that's almost worth it. The other thing is we can look to flip Japan, but we are a little behind on non-battleground countries. Containment, of course, so we should have seen that coming. Well, we can take the China card and then space US-Japan Pact. Sorry, we can take Japan with the China card and then space US-Japan Pact. That is an option. It's pretty cheeky. And then we have to 5-year plan special relationship. Maybe take India with that on our last AR. Or go Saudi Arabia, since they have NASA and one other card. It's an interesting one. Well, we don't really want to play US-Japan Pact anyway. Don't really want to hold 5-year plan and special relationship over though. Or do we? Maybe that is okay. Yeah, let's do it. Whatever. Let's be bold. It's still going to be challenging for us to turn it into a domination without decol. But decol is in the deck, so I think we can do it. UN interventioning NASA, okay. Nope, just playing it. Playing a UN intervention. So we're going to space this now, which was a success. So we get to see their headlines, but as we said, grain sales is a problem for us. So we can't, as is VOA. So we need to try and really attack the space race next turn. So having 5-year plan to do that is something we can use. But because we're getting 2 shots at the space race next turn, hopefully, as long as we can get up to Eagle/Bear has landed, we should be okay. No more Pokemon from Communist Japan. It's possible. Alright, our opponent's Snap headlining grain sales. So we've got a couple of good headlines obviously here. Junta. I think we probably have to headline Junta so that our opponent doesn't get it. Anything else they get is probably okay. Anything else they take from us. If we can get to OPEC for something sweet, that'll be good. But yeah, let's headline Junta, see where we end up. Southeast Asia scoring. It's probably a good one for them to grab from us, because they probably have to return it. I mean, they could play it. Failure on the coup. So let's go with a... We could go 2 in Colombia, realign Panama, but I don't really like giving them the coup in here. So I think we'll just realign Panama at +0. Sorry, -1. So realign Panama. Got lucky. Got very lucky. Okay. We're at -2 in Mexico, so that was pretty outrageous. Play our action round. Well, Marshall Plan doesn't do heaps here, so we can probably go ahead and play that for maximum spread options. So we can go 2 into Brazil. I probably actually want to be careful of Voice of America, so I want to go 1, 2. And then take Libya. We can also 5-year plan the Southeast Asia scoring, which means we don't go to space this turn, which is a bit risky. But I think it's worth a few VPs there. Worth the few VPs there, I should say. That's annoying. At least we put one in Brazil, I guess. Problematic times in Africa. But I think we just stick with the plan. And go 1, 2. Just that makes it a bit like putting 1 in Uruguay is not great because it's a bit too easy to coup. Even though that's not great from a tempo perspective for them, it's still a bit dicey for us if they succeed. So they've gone with influence instead in Argentina and Panama. Fair enough. We'll go with influence from here into Saudi Arabia just for the extra VP. And then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, assuming that they don't ABM Venezuela this turn. Sorry, this AR. Yeah, it's a little bit dicey as to whether we 5-year plan this Southeast Asia scoring or space 5-year plan and just cop the VPs. Because it isn't a lot of VPs, but I do want to get further ahead on the space race track here. Okay, could be a Alliance for Progress to follow up our OPEC, but we'll see. So like we're holding the line in the mid-war regions, but we do need to do something about this Africa situation because that's going to get out of hand quickly. And I am very nervous about this space race situation. Being that far ahead on the space race as the Soviets is not always the best place to be. We are going to have to play two pretty bad cards for us in Europe as well here. At least Independent Reds isn't going to give them Romania because we've got Truman out of the deck. But it's going to make it a bit worse for us. Okay, PAC goes to space. I think we'll give them special relationship first. Probably place one in Brazil, one in India, just to keep up the threat a little bit of dominating Asia. And then we're going to have to go Independent Reds, 5-year plan. So from the Independent Reds, I'll probably put one into Europe. Okay, even things up, fair enough. So lucky we had the junta, lucky for them they had the puppet governments. All worked out well for everybody. Independent Reds, yes, so we'll trigger it first. Put one into Burma. And one into... Oh, Europe's already scored, I'm not too fast. I'll probably actually just place two into Burma here. Put us on dominating Asia. They may take Malaysia and the Philippines because they know that we've got Southeast Asia scoring. Then we can put, you know, two in India, one in Taiwan if we want to. But we'll probably go two in India, one in North Korea, I imagine. Safer, even though it doesn't get us domination. I just don't want us getting jammed in North Korea on this last AR. So they might play into an African non-battleground. That would be an option for them here. Oh yes, it's a good one too. Nicaragua, Haiti, yep. Fair enough. And yeah, we didn't pick up any mill-ops that turn, just a little annoying. Okay. So probably going to space these two actually. If we get two spaces this turn. We might headline South African unrest. South America scoring's out of the deck already, and we know that Africa is going to be scored here. So our opponent has to show us their headline, of course. The other option is to headline Africa scoring, but I think that's pretty bad because we're about to make it better with the South African unrest and hopefully a coup. So influence adjacent, two in Angola. And then we can coup Nigeria or Zaire. But what to coup with? This is a very, very, very low ops hand. So there's obviously a risk to coupping with one of our one-op cards, that it's a failure. But I think we are just going to have to do it because we're not going to coup with John Paul, and we have 4 one-ops. And then we're going to space the other two. So let's go ahead and coup Nigeria, because we can conceivably flip Zaire if we really are desperate to. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts. So the advantage to coupping Nigeria was that that was the only bad result, because a 2 at least kicks them out. But now they get to flip us with a 3-op, and we are back in a pretty dire position in Africa, and we're probably just going to have to eat the 5 VPs at that point. They could also play into a non-battleground, and that would be a huge problem for us. VOA is also a huge problem. That's a fair flip. We're just, we're going to have to eat this now. Bye-bye Africa scoring. And bye-bye VP's lead. And this Central America situation is also getting a bit dicey. Yep. So, flavorfully, Cuban Missile Crisis is the end of Castro, possibly. No, not the first time. The second time, and not the third time. Alright. Well, I still think we coup here with Lone Gunman on Haiti. That's alright. So of course they can jam into Cuba, but it's a little less advantageous for them to realign now. So they are playing the China card, indicates they've probably got Cultural Revolution. And with our extraordinarily low ops hand, there's not much we can do about it. So I think we'll probably head to space straight away, whilst we still can. We'll space this first. It's a really unfortunate failure, because it would have been nice to throw away John Paul this turn. Yep, and they denied us the space on this, that's okay. I think we'll probably just play it, since there are not a whole lot of advantageous scoring cards for us here. So, yeah, we'll do it. They have 5 cards, so there's not probably much of a reason to wait. Pardon me. So I think we'll just take Taiwan and give them that. Quagmire's already out of the way. We've already had OPEC, so it's really just Shay. We will bury you. I doubt they'd throw away Flower Power. It's really just Shay and we will bury you, I think, at this point. And there's no scoring cards that they'll be tempted to throw. Even like Willy Brandt's out of the way and they wouldn't throw U2 incident. So yeah, they threw nothing away. It's about as good as Ask Not gets. And they give us the VP from Cultural Revolution as suspected. Evening things up in the Middle East. And I think we'll just play 1 into Colombia here. Which does give them a decent coup target, but it just makes Venezuela a little securer. And then we'll probably event Allende for our last action round and hope that we can... it's going to be at least a couple of turns before we can throw away this John Paul, unfortunately. So we may have to just cop it. Yeah, that hurts. That really hurts. Since they did the gambit at the end of their last turn and then drew the scoring card, it's unfortunate timing for us, and we still haven't seen Asia scoring come back after we went for the Japan gambit. Alright. So we got ABM, and we got Brush War. Well, we can't complain about the cards we've been dealt, that's for sure. Muslim Revolution is pretty strong here. We still get to see their headline, which is an advantage. Camp David and John Paul will be annoying. But yeah, Muslim Revolution is nice to get them out of Iran and Libya, but unfortunately that doesn't really get us Libya. It does mean we can get them out of Iran, Libya, and coup Egypt. But we're gonna let them back in at some point in the turn with Camp David. Alright. So that is a very frustrating headline. I mean, at least we have a few options for what to give them. So we're probably just going to have to give them a coup. Which means we may want to headline We Will Bury You and then give them Muslim Revolution. Because then at least they don't get to coup. The other option is to headline How I Learned and put DEFCON to 2. Or headline how I learned to put DEFCON higher, but we might use a 3 up to flip Thailand and then try and brush war. To flip Laos and then try and brush war Thailand. Yeah, I think we do headline this and give them Muslim Revolution. I mean, it means we don't get to Muslim Revolution, which kind of sucks. So maybe we headline this and give them We Will Bury You. And then we can event Muslim Revolution, but then we have to ABM coup Egypt. We go ABM coup Egypt first. Yeah. Is Egypt the one we want to coup with ABM? Possibly. Denying the Middle East presence is pretty strong. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, their headline gets to go first. Ugh. That doesn't work at all. Okay, well, we have to go with this, and nah. It's really tough because I really want that Muslim Revolution this turn. So maybe we have to give them a coup. Where are they going to coup us? Venezuela, Brazil. They'll probably coup us in Brazil. Okay. Yeah, we're going to do this. I'm going to take the VPs. Give them Muslim Revolution. Sad times. We're not going to get that. And then we'll ABM coup somewhere else. Like ABM coup Argentina is not too bad. I think that's probably the way to go. I haven't got a whole lot of great brush war targets. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it does suck, doesn't it? Yeah, so maybe we'll end up ABMing Venezuela. It's pretty miserable. I'm reluctant to throw away the China card to take Chile. But I think here... Where? We can event socialist governments to take out 2 in Romania, or 2 in Portugal. 1 in Romania, 2 in Portugal, 1 in Finland, just to give us domination back in Europe. We can put 4 ops into Chile with the China card. We can event Warsaw after John Paul. Doesn't feel great though. We could coup Colombia, brush war in South America. I think that's probably the answer. We probably ABM one, brush war the other. So maybe we just brush war Argentina now. Yeah, I can see that. Yep. Yeah, that actually makes sense. And whilst these Europe events could come in handy, I kind of want to use them in the Middle East. I'm not sure. Okay, they're wary of relines there. I think we just go ahead and give this a go. Cool. We are still giving up a lot of VPs in Africa. So maybe we flip Angola, actually. I think that's probably the answer with Warsaw Pact or socialist governments. I think that's the most aggressive play that we can make next, and it's better than going into Israel, since Camp David is going to happen. Yeah, okay. That's frustrating. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. This could be one of the very rare games where Southeast Asia doesn't get scored, depending on what happens with the late war deck. Okay, fixing up Zaire. We'll go, since they didn't flip Angola back there, kind of makes me think they might not have a 3-up. But they could just be baiting us. That being said, I think we will just go 3 into South Africa. Maybe we'll go 1 in Angola, 2 in South Africa. It's probably safer. Okay. Coups in Haiti. Fair enough. Well, we'll go 1 in South Africa, 1 in Poland. Just because we're going to have to deal with John Paul. I mean, we could hold John Paul over and play Camp David Accords this turn. Not again. So often I get here and then I just cannot get to lunar orbit. It's not about me, as the Soviets just can't do it. Yeah, I don't think we want to risk Poland. I think that was probably an error. I think I should have played 1 into Finland or Romania instead of into Poland and just held John Paul over to next turn. But what can we do here with 2 influence? We can break into South Korea. We can break into Algeria, Chile, I kind of like South Korea, puts them a bit more on the back foot in Asia, because we know that Asia is going to be scored next turn. Yeah. I think it's probably the best aggressive play we can make at this point. The other option would be to go 2 into Botswana to make South Africa a bit safer, but let's go with this. So we could be in a little bit of trouble with blue cards next turn. At least, I mean, Grain Sales, Voice of America, all these 2-up problem cards are going to get reshuffled next turn. It's not ideal. Okay, well, they had the same thought in terms of Asia scoring. That's annoying. Okay. Decol's probably a good headline then. If we know they've got Asia scoring, they probably are going to try and dump it in the headline phase. We're going to have to give them colonial rearguards at some point in the turn. But yeah, I think we do go ahead and decol here. Oh, the series even better, I guess. Yeah, should have probably seen that. Although that's not bad for us since we have the war. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4. I think's the way to go. And then we can go so they can take North Korea if we give them the opportunity here. The other thing we can do is go 1, 2. We could take Laos or Indonesia. I kind of want to bait them into fighting for India. And if we take Nigeria, like, yes, they get a coup, but then we get to take India back. So I think it's Nigeria and Laos. And then if they go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can still fill up there. Yeah, I think that's okay. And we've got the war as follow-up after giving them the coup, and the war is like a 4+ and is relevant to a scoring that's going to happen this turn. So I think it's about as good as IP war gets, really. It's very unfortunate that we're going to have to eat this colonial rearguards this turn. We probably want to head to space sooner rather than later as well with this Alliance for Progress, just to really try and go for those points. Okay, they are jamming it in Asia. Alright, so do we want to go the 4+? I think we do. Like, it's... We could just keep griefing them. Like, if we flip Indonesia with a 3-up, then it's not the same outcome. Yes, because it's a battleground. We have to do this. Okay. Come on. Alright. Whew. That is handy. DEFCON's still at 3, so they probably want a coup. In which case we get space. Okay, they're going space. They're valuing that over the coup. And they succeeded. So, yeah, it worked out well for them, I guess. Well, we'll take the coup here on Zaire, I think. And then we'll... I think we'll probably afford to use Liberation Theology. Although we do have enough mill-ops already. So I'm kind of tempted to use Kitchen Debates, save Liberation Theology to event, like, just because it is a good event. And then just take the arms race VPs. So that's space 3-1, yeah, so at least we get 1 VP if we're successful with this Alliance for Progress. Yeah, I think it is a 1-up coup on Zaire. I think that is the correct answer. The other answer might be a 1-up coup on Nigeria, actually, because it's more likely to have a favourable outcome, and that at least gives us the opportunity to dominate Africa, and we're going to have to cop colonial rearguards anyway, so I think that's probably right. Yeah, well, failed but we reduced DEFCON. And assuming that we don't see a 3-op coup on a non-battleground, we will get to score arms race. And then Space Alliance for Progress. That would have been a nice one for us to have this turn, actually. Pardon me. Okay. So are they going to go Saharan States next turn? Next AR? I think we can go like this. The problem is, like, if they go Saharan States, we have to coup with Liberation Theology, which I don't think is right or good. It's okay. They don't know that. They don't know what our hand's like. They do know we've got colonial rearguards, though. Only 3 more ARs, so we can hold over the colonial rearguards. Which we probably do want to do anyway, because it causes us problems with Asia scoring as well. No rad for influence. So into Saharan states, and where did the other one go? Argentina. The other 2 went into Argentina. Alright, well, in that case, I think we actually give up on the arms race VPs, because Argentina is pretty important, and we go into Ivory Coast. So, question, if you were stranded on a desert island and can only take 3 movies, which ones would you take? That is an interesting question. Movies with good, like, rewatchability. I mean, I'm assuming that I also get to take the apparatus that I need to watch these movies. But assuming that that's the case, it'd be movies that feel good, I guess, because you're stranded on a desert island. You probably want to feel happy a bit of the time, and probably something that reminded me of home. So something Australian, I guess. I'll have a think about the exact ones after this AR. So Asia scoring for us was good, and we'll just now, I think, go ahead and space this. Yeah, just can't hit that space, can we? Lunar orbit eludes us. So, which 3 movies? I recently watched Strictly Ballroom. Really like that. It's a good Australian film. I do like Moulin Rouge as well. That's a bit sad. That is a good coup from them. I think we'll play Liberation Theology, though, because now if they want to realign... I mean, they can realign Nigeria and realign us out, I guess, from here. So perhaps that's not ideal. Yeah, because if we go Liberation Theology 1, 2 to break Panama, and then 3, they still get the +1 from both Panama and Mexico. So we're at like -2 in both if they realign us, which is pretty bad. I think it's better for us to hold on to Nigeria here, actually. I think it gives us more of a chance of dominating Africa. So the option is coup Cameroon or Saharan states. Surely I would take the entire Action Route 0 ITSL back catalogue. It's possible. It's very possible. I think I'll coup Cameroon so I can realign Zaire. I think that's the way to go. And it also gives us domination, which is handy. What other moves do I take? So other than like probably some Baz Luhrmann Australian film, I do like The Matrix, but you know, it's pretty trippy. Probably wouldn't be, I mean, I'm a bit of a kind of history, politics, social issues kind of person. That's hence the interest in Twilight Struggle, I suppose. But I don't think any of those things would be of much interest or use when you're on a desert island. So perhaps something that is a bit more practical would be helpful. Like, there are probably some life skills that it would be useful to have in that sort of situation that I want to take with me. Okay, tear down this wall is a nice space target for us. And what do we want to headline? Let's go... Marine barracks bombing does a thing in Iran, although we are likely to get Iran anyway from Iranian hostage crisis at some point. But I think it's our best headline. We also get to brush war somewhere. It's probably going to be Zaire or somewhere in South America. Terrorism is okay, but they may play Iranian hostage crisis, and I think headlining Marine barracks bombing makes it more likely that they do. The other opportunity is to headline Warsaw Pact, but I think I'd rather hold on to it. So let's go ahead and headline this. So I've got defectors. It's annoying. It is a domination at least that we would have got there. So we'll coup with Comecon. We may also this turn try and fill up Finland or Romania. But I think the Comecon coup probably goes on Argentina. Definitely going to try and space that as well this turn if we can. So we could roll poorly here on Argentina, but I think it's the #1 priority for us is to flip this back. We're not, I think, so fussed about flipping Zaire because we can brush war it. Yeah, we don't have another way to degrade DEFCON other than giving them tear down this wall, but I just don't think we want to do that either. So let's go ahead and do this. Right. Whew. Worked out not too badly. So then we probably want to event this, but yeah, I think we'll wait and see if they do Iranian hostage crisis. I mean, they're unlikely to play it, I guess, because it's so important. Ugh, okay. Well, that's annoying. It's very annoying. Annoying and rude. I think Africa's probably in a little bit of trouble anyway, given the colonial rearguards that we're probably going to have to play because we have to hold on to this. So perhaps our brush war target is actually Thailand, and we want to space, tear down this wall, try and use Chernobyl to take Romania later in the turn. Yeah, let's just space this. Okay. Next turn, our space race is definitely going to succeed. Okay. The other option rather, is to brush war around here. But that doesn't feel great. It does not feel great. Neither does allowing them to just control Southern Africa. Do we just go all in on Asia and brush war Thailand? Do we brush war Iran in case they've got scoring? Or do we terrorism them just in the hope that they've got lone gunmen or something? I don't know. So we've still got to play 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's not too bad. I think we probably have to pull the trigger on brush war earlier in the turn. The question is, do we want to go... I think it probably has to be Thailand. Just, it's such big upside, and we're going to have to give them colonial rearguards this turn. Come on. No. Boo. The India one was more important. Yeah, we can brush war. Angola, yeah. So our Mediterranean go to South America scoring Quagmire. Okay. We'll just event this. Okay. That is a good point. Brush warring Angola after ABM. So at that point, yeah. Yep, it's a fair call. So Here I think we actually do just event this. At least threaten the scoring. And make Poland slightly safer, although EEU or Solidarity is still a problem for us. Cool. Yeah. So the thing playing on my mind, I guess, is that we're at a 4+ there, and it was the same in Thailand, and taking Thailand effectively locks up Asia for us for final scoring. But I do get that Africa is a lot of VPs as well, so it's a tough one. Here I think we'll go 1, 2, 3. Do we? Or do we go? I think we actually put Europe back to domination. We go 1, 2, 3. Because I think if we score Europe, we might just get there. I do wonder what they have in hand here. Yeah, I am playing without delay because I trust that Kaiyan's not going to be sniping my stream. But yes, that is all good points. Trigger this, see where Kaiyan goes. I presume we're going to see one in Laos, which will repair. Might see one in Burma, although the war is out of the way, so Burma's less important. And yeah, it's just one in Laos. Okay. So yeah, I think we'll go here and... So hang on. Place influence. 1. Oh, we can't place Chernobyl. Right. I was like, why can't I place one in South Africa? Chernobyl is a very good answer. Do we want to overprotect or do we want to move in? Could move into Israel. Could move into Jordan, try and even up country count. Or could overprotect Brazil. Pardon me. Kind of like overprotect North Korea. Yeah, it's going to be... Our dominations are a little more fragile than theirs, it's true. Could have also been an influence into Europe there. And they did have the Iranian hostage crisis, but it did go to space. Well, this is a pretty good hand. What do we do with it, though? Red Scare could be strong. Reformers extremely strong. I think it's probably got to be Red Scare, though. There's just too much up for grabs at the moment. Oof, that is a killer. Which means we probably AR1 the Reformer here, I think. But we'll see how we go. Could also be AR1 Muslim Revolution. It kind of depends which scoring that card they have, if any. We've got to take a punt. Either one is very strong. Looks like they might have Africa scoring. So what does the Reformer look like for us? I think we probably want to play it because it gets worse, whereas Muslim Revolution stays as good as it is. I think we'll probably go 1, 2, 3, 4. So the influence in West Germany is slightly less efficient, but it's a battleground country. So I think we go there rather than into Denmark or Benelux. Just in case they do have the scoring card this turn. And I think we will give them containment last AR and try and space US-Japan. Oh, although we have to give them nuclear subs in that case as well. Prior to that, which is less ideal. Although one AR of nuclear subs when we have no battlegrounds in Africa, when they're under Red Scare, possibly not a huge deal, but then the second one under containment is more of an issue. So perhaps we hold nuclear subs over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's right. 6 more plays, yep. Which is another reason not to put any of our reformer influence in these 4 countries. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this. Tempted by Jordan. Even though it's an... Whoa. Startled the hell out of me. I've obviously got my notifications up too loud. Thanks for the follow. Jordan or Libya here. It's probably harder for them to commit back into Libya, I think. Like, it takes more VPs, and I don't think adjacency to Iraq or Saudi Arabia. I mean, it does allow them to jam next turn if we end up dominating. We'll see. That might have been wrong. So the reason I didn't break first is that, 1, I didn't know if they had the scoring card, and 2, they don't have adjacency to Iran anyway, so we can dominate them without too much trouble. They can take Jordan, obviously here. We can take Gulf states and then they have to take Israel. But there's no more. Okay. Ooh, kind of good that that wasn't US-Japan Pact, I have to say. Maybe they want containment. Well, that was very lucky for us. So I think we'll space now. Try and get that VP back. Hey, there we go. They do get to discard a card here. Yeah, he did have AWOX. And I guess it worked out well doing it that way. In a kind of weird roundabout lucky way. Eventing salts to get back. Alliance for Progress for the VPs. Well, that is a fair amount of VPs, so fair enough. And did they event containment? I didn't actually follow that. Oh no, they realigned, that's right. So this is unfortunate because it means we do have to play nuclear subs this turn. But they will still be under Red Scare, so that's not too bad. We could event Yuri and Samantha, but I think I'd rather take the ops at this point. I think they are probably more important. We can overprotect Japan. We can put one in Yugoslavia. We can put one into Jordan. That's probably efficient. So I think overprotect Japan and one into Jordan. That's the right way to go. We also probably want to take Paraguay. Okay, so with DEFCON at 4, let's just go ahead and coup. Yeah, Japan is a lot. I think we want to coup in Africa, even though things are not great under SALT negotiations. We could coup Thailand with the China card, but that feels pretty bad to give them back that on just before turn 10. Let's do this. Or should we just give them special relationship first? Yeah, I think there's no reason to do that. Oh, no, there is, because it means we definitely get another coup. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. So now they can't reduce DEFCON, which is handy. Where is War Games indeed? Hopefully we don't get Central America scoring War Games out. That would be such a blowout and I would be very upset about it. Boy, oh boy. That would upset me a lot. Okay. So do we coup Venezuela or do we allow DEFCON to go up to 4? I think we actually just allow DEFCON to go up and we just do this. I think it's worth more VPs. Puts Africa down to 4. So the only war games out is Central America. Southeast Asia scoring is only getting them 2. And we can coup Mexico, hopefully, next turn. DEFCON will be up at 4, which I think advantages us. We can also realign South Korea, potentially. Coupping in Zaire and not a great roll. Latin American debt crisis goes in the bin. And turn 10, here we come. All right. Not great news. We do have UN intervention, which will help a little bit. I think we headline Middle East scoring. Socialist government's better. I don't think so. Okay. So now we do get to coup Mexico if we want. Pardon me. Probably with the Iron Lady. Although I'm reluctant to give them VPs. I don't want to use UN intervention on that. We want to use it on Star Wars or Bear Trap. Or we can just Bear Trap last AR, so that's fine. So I think we will coup with the Iron Lady in Mexico. It does mean we can't socialist governments. We could have just couped with socialist governments. But then we can't socialist governments anyway. I think we'll probably event Iran-Iraq war depending on what happens here. Okay. Yeah, so like obviously we die to Central America scoring into war games. That is extremely scary to me. But I'm just going to hope that they don't have it. Yeah. So we can event Missile Envy here, but is we will bury you out of the way. It is. We could just die to a venting missile envy, but if they get far enough on the VP track, I think I will consider it. I'll just event this for the VPs. And then I think it's Iran-Iraq war for VPs again, next AR. So we've got 4 more plays. Probably 1. Okay, I think we'll just break Cuba actually. Okay. So I guess we have to honor it and hope that we don't accidentally kill ourselves. OPEC, okay. That I think I can deal with. I think we might not have quite got there though on VPs with that Central America scoring. Maybe whiffing on that Iran-Iraq war might have done us. Because I think at +5 we probably got there, but I don't know that we do now. We got 5, 12, 15, 20, plays 13, 20. So right now we are winning, but they have an action round. Right now we're winning by 1 VP from the China card. I think they can probably steal 2 VPs off us. I mean, obviously, it depends what their last card's in hand. It's not a 4-op. It's Voice of America. Yep, great game. And our opponent got there. So, well played. Took it right to the end, but that was certainly a good finish. So, thanks for watching everyone on stream. Thanks to Kaiyan for being a great opponent. And yeah, that's Central America scoring. If it was any other scoring card there, we were in pretty good shape. But alas, it was that one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.